Hey guys, welcome back to another week of what's for dinner. So first we are making some French dip sandwiches. So I just got this loaf of sliced bread from the Walmart deli and I am just coating them with some mayonnaise, and then I have some sliced cheese here that I got from Walmart as well. This is just the Colby and Monterey Jack. I'm just layering one slice on, and then I have a little bit of roast beef that I'm going to layer on that. And then we're actually just going to bake these in the oven on a cookie sheet for, I think I put them on 375 for about 10 minutes, and they were like the perfect crispiness. So here's what my plate looked like when it was all done. I made some au jus sauce. We served this with some chips and a Knorr pasta side. Okay, this next night we are making ranch Doritos casserole. So this was actually a TikTok recipe that I saw that I really wanted to try. So I will leave all of the details typed out down below for you since I don't have an actual recipe to link for you. But I just got this pre-cooked chicken. I'm just seasoning it the way that I like with salt, pepper, and some Tony's. And I'm just basically gonna heat that through. The recipe calls for a packet of ranch seasoning, but I have this big tub that I got from Costco, so I am just adding the equivalent, which is 3 tablespoons, and I'm just going to mix that all together and disperse all the flavors. Next, I'm going to add 1 can of Rotel that I did not drain, 1 can of diced green chilies that I did not drain, mix that all together. And I'm actually going to be adding a few more things, but I did just want to mention first that if you're going to make this, I would recommend not adding the Rotel. I would recommend just adding 1 or 2 cans of the diced green chilies, depending on your preference. But next time I make this, I will just add 1 can of green chilies. Also, I'm adding an 8-ounce tub of sour cream and 1 can of cream of chicken. You're basically just going to mix all of this together, and this will be your filling for your casserole. Okay, now we're going to assemble the casserole. So I'm just adding a little bit of cooking spray to the bottom so that nothing sticks, and then I'm adding just a little bit of the mixture to the bottom so that the chips don't stick and get burnt. And then we will layer on half of the bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, and then we'll put the mixture on, layer the other half, and then put the other half of the mixture on top of that, and then you're just going to top it with cheese. And I baked this in the oven at 400 for about 15 minutes. You're basically just heating everything through and making sure that the cheese is melted. So here's what it looks like when it came out of the oven. Super delicious. I decided to top it with black olives as well. We served this with a side of corn and some strawberries. This was so good. I recommend that you try it. This next night, I did not show the whole process, but we just had some spaghetti. Basically, I just had some tortellini, and we served with garlic bread and green beans. The next recipe is a Wendy's's Copycat chili. I actually got this from Mandy in the Making, and I will leave the actual recipe link down below for you that I used, but this was really good. I'll probably always make my chili like this from now on. This is probably like the best chili that I'd ever had, and we really do love Wendy's chili. So like I said, I'll leave everything linked down below for you, but basically you're going to need some ground beef, some onion and green pepper. You can leave the onions and peppers out if you don't prefer that, but we love it, so we left it in there. A packet of chili seasoning, and then you're going to need a couple cans of beans. We used kidney and pinto beans, just like the recipe called, but when we're making chili, we really do prefer kidney beans. And you're also going to need a can of Rotel and a can of tomato sauce. So basically you're just going to mix all of this together and make sure that it is heated through. And then we always serve our chili with either Fritos or hot dogs for chili dogs. But like I said, I'll leave the recipe link down below for you, and I highly recommend trying this recipe, especially now that we have officially entered fall. So here's what my bowl looked like when it was all done. I like eating my chili with French onion dip. If you've not tried it, you definitely should. So this next recipe is just chicken and dumplings. I did not get a final picture at the end, but I made this for my husband's going away party. He recently enlisted into the military, so he is in basic training right now, and this is what he wanted for his last meal. So I'm just chopping up some carrots, and I'm going to throw those in a bowl. I'm going to be chopping up some onions, and then throwing those in as well, and we're actually going to cook these on the stove to really enhance that flavor before we throw them in with the crock pot. Okay, so now that everything is chopped up, I just have a couple tablespoons of butter in this pan here. We're just gonna melt that down, and then I'm gonna add my onions and cook those until they are translucent. We'll add our carrots and just cook those for a little bit, just basically get them toasty to enhance the flavor, and then we'll be able to throw them in our crock pot. I went ahead and seasoned with a little bit of salt, some pepper, and some parsley for color. Okay, so now we're going to move over to the crock pot. So I've got 4 cans of chicken broth here. I just like using the Knorr powder. It's a lot more cost effective, and I think it tastes better than regular chicken broth. And we're just going to add that to the bottom of the crock pot. I've got 2 cans of cream of chicken here. We're just going to throw that in there and mix all of this together, and then we'll put our chicken in and let that cook through. I did want to mention, like I said, I did not get an end picture, but I will type out all the instructions down below so that you can make this really yummy chicken and dumplings. This is like my standard chicken and dumplings recipe, and it's always a crowd pleaser. So after the chicken cooks through, you're just going to take it from the crock pot and shred it to your liking. This time I did use a hand mixer so that it would go a little bit farther. I was feeding a crowd, so I needed, more chicken to go farther. So I used my hand mixer, mixed that all up, and then I cranked up my crock pot onto high, and I had 2 cans of just regular refrigerated biscuits, and I put those on top. You're just going to want to cook those until they're done. Usually on high for about an hour is the sweet spot. So